Hello everyone. Let me start the video by showing you a beautiful picture. Have you seen this before? Do you know what it is? Is it a galaxy, star clusters, an unknown planet? No to all of that. It's a nebula. Nebulae look like beautiful pieces of artwork, but they are essentially giant clouds of dust and gas in space. Like us, when stars are born, they will grow old and eventually die. However, their lifespan and ours differ greatly. Did you know that these stars are born from clouds of dust and gas, like the nebulae you just saw? More specifically, these nebulae are referred to as stellar nurseries, as they are the home of new and young stars. We will be taking a look at an example of a stellar nursery later on. In general, the formation of a nebula can be from 1. Gases and dust that were thrown out by the explosion of a dying star, like a supernova. It is usually the final stage in a low-mass star's life. It can also be the origin of a new star formation. So now we know nebulae are often star-forming regions, but how do they actually give birth to these new stars? Well, in these regions, the formations of gas, dust, and other materials clump together to form denser regions, which attract more matter, and eventually it will become dense enough to form stars. Now, a quick question for you. Have you ever wondered what's the origin of Earth? The Earth was formed from the nebula that produced the solar system. It is almost universally accepted that the Sun, the planets and their satellites, and the asteroids grew from a cloud of gas and dust that contracted under its own gravity. Moving on to the Cat's Eye Nebulae. Another exciting nebula that we would like to introduce is the Cat Eye Nebula. Being one of the first planetary nebula discovered in 1786 by German-born British astronomer William Herschel, it's a nebula looking just like a cat eye. Like every other thing, astronomers also name nebula after their distinctive characteristics. The nebula has a bull's eye pattern of 11 or more concentric rings around the cat's eye. Each of these rings is the edge of a spherical bubble projected into the sky, allowing it to appear bright along the outer edges. Can you guess how old this nebula could be? It's actually estimated to be 1,000 years old. It's a visual fossil record of the dynamics and late evolution of a dying star. It is observed that the star that created the Cat Eye Nebula ejected its mass in a series of pulses at the 1500-year intervals. You may wonder what will happen next. The star dies, dust and gases form beautiful nebula, and what's next? Well, for the Cat Eye Nebula, it will gradually disperse over the next 1,000 years, and the progenitor star will eventually cool down and become what is known as a white dwarf. A white dwarf is essentially a star that burned up all its hydrogen, which is used as a nuclear fuel. Moving on to the next nebula, we have the Orion Nebula. So the Cat Eye Nebula was formed from a dying star. This Orion Nebula is a stellar nursery. A stellar nursery, like I implied before, is simply a region where new stars are beginning to form. To date, researchers have observed up to 700 stars in various stages of formation within the nebula. The colorful Orion Nebula gets its reddish hue from hydrogen gas, which is energized by radiation from newborn stars. The orange is attributed to hydrogen, while green represents oxygen gas. The nebula is visible to the naked eye even from areas affected by some light pollution. It is seen as the middle star in the sword of Orion, which are the three stars located below Orion's belt. Now you may wonder, are nebula usually this colorful? What does the color represent? Well, when astronomical photographs are taken, the images are monochromatic, in short, in grayscale. However, several filters will be applied and sample the narrow wavelength ranges. The scientists will then add red, green, or blue to color the exposures taken through those filters. The colors displayed are a result of the assigned different hues to each monochromatic image associated with an individual filter. In this case, the assigned colors are purple. So depending on the assigned filters, the different nebula may appear in different colors. Now, let's admire the beautiful nebula drawn by our talented friends. Hope you enjoyed the video and learned something new. Thanks for watching.